Have you ever stared at a single glowing line of text on a screen at 2 a.m. and felt the entire world fracture around you? I was sitting in my home office, the city lights of Chicago a distant blurry smear through the window. My wife Sarah was asleep down the hall, breathing the peaceful sighs of the innocent. But on my monitor was her open email account, an account she'd asked me to fix months ago and forgot I still had access to. The subject line was simple: tonight. The sender was a name I didn't recognize. And the message inside contained just 3 words that shattered my soul. He's not you. It was in that silent, sterile moment, with the blue light of the screen painting my face, that I realized my marriage wasn't just broken. It was a meticulously crafted lie. And what time it is right now, it's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The first crack had appeared weeks earlier, disguised as a joke. We were at a dinner party at our friend's condo overlooking Lincoln Park. Sarah, holding a glass of wine, was telling a story about her new client, a financial guru named Mark. She laughed, a little too loudly, and said, "Mark thinks I'm wasted in marketing. He told me I have the face for television and the mind for a hostile takeover." She looked around the table for validation. I smiled, but a cold knot formed in my stomach. It wasn't what she said, but how she said it, like his opinion was the only one that mattered. The humiliation was a quiet, creeping thing. I felt like a prop in the story of her grand new life. Her behavior grew stranger. Her phone, once left carelessly on the kitchen counter, was now her constant companion, always screened down. There were late nights at the office that didn't quite add up, and credit card receipts from places we never went. Together, a quiet little bar on Rush Street, a hotel cafe in the Loop. When I'd ask, her answers were smooth, almost rehearsed. "Well, that was a client meeting, honey. You know how it is." She'd touch my arm, a gesture that once felt loving, but now felt like a dismissal. She was becoming a stranger, cold and polished, her eyes holding a glint of something I can only describe as manipulative pity. She and this Mark, whoever he was, felt untouchable. I was just the boring, stable husband she came home to. The breaking point came on our anniversary. I'd booked a table at our favorite restaurant, the one where I proposed. She canceled an hour before, a quick text message. "So sorry, Mark's deal is closing. Have to be here, rain check." I sat alone in our living room, the gift I'd bought for her sitting on the table, and I just broke. The grief was a physical force, a wave that knocked the air from my lungs. I wasn't just sad, I was erased. That night, I didn't sleep. Instead, I went into my office, powered on my computer, and remembered. The password. The email account she'd locked herself out of, the one I'd so helpfully fixed. My hands trembled as I typed it in, and there it was. An entire shadow life laid bare in threads of emails. Hotel confirmations, flirtatious back and forths, and the latest thread, the one from tonight. I clicked it open. It was a chain between her and Mark, planning their evening. He had written, "Can't wait to have you all to myself. He doesn't deserve you." And her reply, the one that stopped my heart, "He's not you." I wasn't a husband anymore. I was a comparison, a failure. The broken man vanished in that moment, replaced by something cold and strategic. The hurt didn't disappear. It crystallized into purpose. I started taking screenshots. Every email, every hotel booking, every sweet nothing. I created a folder, a digital tomb for my marriage. The plan began to form. Sarah's father was retiring, and her family was throwing a huge, lavish party for him in the grand ballroom of the Drake Hotel. It was the social event of the year for her family, a monument to their legacy and success. Sarah was in charge of the tribute video, a slideshow of her father's life. She'd been working on it for weeks, a project to prove her devotion. And she asked me to help put the final file together on my computer, because my editing software was better. The irony was so thick I could taste it. 2 days before the party, I went to see a lawyer, the most ruthless divorce attorney in Chicago. Laid out the printed evidence on his polished mahogany desk. He looked at me, a flicker of professional sympathy in his eyes. "What do you want?" he asked. I looked out his window at the sprawling city. "I want to be free," I said. "But first, I want justice." We drew up the papers. We froze the joint accounts. We prepared. The night of the party was like a scene from a movie. The ballroom was glittering, filled with Chicago's elite. Sarah was radiant in a backless gown, gliding through the room, accepting compliments, the perfect daughter. She gave me a kiss, a cold, dry press of her lips. "Isn't this wonderful?" she whispered, her eyes scanning the crowd, probably for him. I saw him then, Mark, standing by the bar, looking smug. He caught my eye and gave me a small, condescending nod, the kind of gesture a man makes when he thinks he's won. The time came for the tribute. The lights dimmed. Sarah stood by the podium, beaming with pride. "I'd like to present a little something for my dad," she announced, her voice thick with emotion. The giant screen behind her flickered to life. The first few photos were normal: her dad as a child, his wedding, the birth of his children. The gentle music played. Then the screen went black. A new image appeared. It was a screenshot of a hotel confirmation, the Intercontinental. For two. A nervous murmur went through the crowd. Sarah's smile faltered. Another image. An email. From Mark to Sarah. "Last night was incredible." The music stopped. Another screenshot, this time her reply. "He's not you." The final image was a photo of them, kissing, taken from Mark's own public social media, dated on our anniversary. The silence in the ballroom was absolute, a crushing weight. I saw Sarah's face, a mask of horror, her skin pale. Her father was staring at the screen, his face a thundercloud of disbelief and rage. I didn't stay to watch the rest. I walked out of the ballroom. The next morning, a process server delivered the divorce papers to her parents' home, where she had hidden in shame. The legal battle was swift and brutal. The evidence was undeniable. She lost everything: her share of our assets, her reputation, her family's respect. Sometimes late at night, I still sit in my office and look out at the Chicago skyline. The city is just as beautiful, but it feels different now, colder. I won. I got my revenge. But all I truly have to show for it is the silence where a life used to be. The end.